without further ado, let's start the webinar and let's go through the agenda. We'll start with the product overview, go through the key benefits of all of our products, including compatibility, flexibility, scalability, and simple configuration and commissioning process. Of course, we'll mention all of our software tools, and please do not hesitate to ask all the questions in the chat. We'll prepare a PDF file that will be shared with you after the webinar to answer and address all of them. So please ask all your questions in the chat. You can start right now. So let's start with the compatibility of our I/O modules. Why we are here? We are all in the building automation management systems, and our products are designed to work with different multiple building automation systems. How? All of our multi-protocol I/O modules are enabled with BACnet and Modbus protocols. BACnet, including BACnet MSTP and BACnet IP. In terms of Modbus, we have Modbus RTU, Modbus ASCII for the RS485 communication. We have the Modbus TCP IP for the IP communication. What's next? We have the flexibility of our products. Let's define the product groups in our portfolio. We have the Mix family that includes 4 products, Mix 18 and Mix 38 in both IP and RS485 version. If you look through our portfolio of multi-protocol I/O modules, you will see that all the products have a version of each module in IP and RS485 version. So integration can be enabled over the Ethernet or over the serial bus with any of those modules. Next to the Mix family, we have the Max family. So while Mix family is designed to extend the system with a larger HVAC application like air handling unit, we have a perfect mix of 38 and 18 inputs and outputs. Our Max family is matched with one single type of input or output. And in this product portfolio, we have 24 digital inputs and we have 12 digital outputs, which are really outputs with a hand control over them. Also with RS485 and IP-enabled versions. If you look into our third family, which is the last one, Mini family, you can see multiple products, 7 types, going from 4 up to 8 combinations of 1 or 2 inputs and outputs. And those products are specifically designed to extend your application with specific needs for additional 4 digital, triac, analog outputs or digital or analog inputs. There's multiple features of all of those that differentiate those products that we'll go through in a while. So while we're speaking about the mini modules, those mini modules are not just simple I/O modules. Selected mini I/O modules, they have a built-in configurable logic. And our 4O modules, they have monostable relays, they have bistable relays, they have time relays, and input forwarding application built in that you can simply configure using our tool available or using the protocols, Modbus or BACnet. I'll show you that in a second. And our 4U4O modules, they have all above modes implemented. And in addition, they have heating cooling modes that allows you to control with a connected sensor the outputs of these modules. So you can create a lighting application, you can open a garage, on-off application, time relays, which are great for presence sensors, and simple impulse forwarding, which is great for pumps. So all of that can be done without additional integration to the BMS system. This is simply available in the modules itself that you can configure from the BMS as well. And what's important in terms of the flexibility, we have a standards of inputs and outputs in all of our product portfolio, and especially in our multi-protocol I/O modules. So the same types of inputs and outputs throughout our products. So let's start with the universal inputs. that supports built-in sensors. The default one, when you take the module out of the box, is the 10K Type 2, but you can configure them in both Fahrenheit and Celsius within a few clicks using our tool or using the protocols for Niagara. There's a voltage input supported, current input, and a resistive input. And the module can also work with universal input as a dry contact input. So you have several types supported by just one input, and all of them are configurable. What's important, we measure the resistance and the voltage in just one time cycle. What that means is you just need to read the proper value from the BACnet object or the Modbus register, and you don't actually need to configure anything if you just want to read voltage or resistance, which is a great feature of all of our universal inputs throughout the portfolio. Going forward, we have the digital inputs, which are great for metering applications. And the difference is those have a fast pulse counter, so they can count from the meters with up to 100 pulses per second the values and store them safely in the EEPROM memory of each module. We have analog outputs, which are standard 0 to 10 volt outputs, and they can take a load up to 20 milliamperes. And that means you can connect an external 12 volt, 12 DC volt relay to them and power the coil of this relay, which is a great extension if you need just an additional digital output as well. And then our digital output, all of the digital outputs in the product portfolio, they are relay outputs, and you have an option of a standard 3 ampere relays, or you can select for lighting applications a larger 8 ampere relays available in our 4.0 mini modules. So that's about the flexibility, and now let's talk about the scalability. So it's not just the modular design. You can see how small those mini modules are and how many inputs and outputs we have packed into our max and mix modules. It is also the features that enable the scalability of those products. So let's just look at the daisy chain of the products using the IP. So each of our mix and max IO modules, they have 2 Ethernet ports, and those ports are working in a switch mode, allowing you to daisy chain them and connect using BACnet IP or Modbus TCP IP and integrate them to BMS or our MAC36 or JACE in our solution. In terms of the RS-485, we have option to connect up to 128 IO modules on a single bus. And how is that? Each of those modules on the RS-485, they take only a quarter of a load regarding to the unit load with RS-485 specification. So we can connect up to 128 on a bus and also daisy chain them in your application to MAC36, to a JACE or AC20 or Rack 18 that we have in our offering as well. So all the controllers, but let's not limit the product only to controllers offered by iSMA CONTROLLI. Those are BACnet and Modbus. That means you can connect them with any BMS system and any controller supporting BACnet or Modbus protocols. Going further about the scalability, in each IPI module, there is a COM1 port, and this COM1 port is a master for the RS-485. And what is important for this port? It allows you to create a cost-effective gateway application and integrate serial devices, whether that is mini modules, mixed modules, or any Modbus devices to the Modbus TCP, which is effectively an IP layer, using the IP module as a gateway. So this is an additional benefit that comes with all of our IPI modules. You get a Modbus TCP to Modbus RTU gateway on board. Going further, let's now talk about the configuration of these products and the tools. So let me now show you. I will stop sharing my screen. I will show myself for a second. So I have here the 4i4o HIP, which is our mini module. And to configure it, it's really simple. What you have to do, you have to take out this lid, and under this lid, you have deep switch and you have the rotary switches. And with those deep switches, you select the protocol, which is Modbus or BACnet, and that's just an easy switch of the fourth deep switch here. And you also select the baud rate this product will communicate with. And with the rotary switches, you set the MAC address as well as the BACnet ID of this device. So just using the deep rotary switches, if you're using the standard configuration, you can set them up and later on integrate them super easily to the BMS. But let's say you would like to change something or configure the IP address. What this product can do is it can power up using just simply the mini USB cable. So as you can see now, I have connected the mini USB cable to this device, and it is already fully operable. And I can configure it using our iSMA configurator that we'll go through right now. So going back to the presentation. Configuration options. So for the basic configurations, we'll always recommend you to go with our iSMA configurator, which is a Windows-based freeware tool that you can get from our IC Connect. iSMA configurator will allow you to manage the device and to manage the firmware, update the firmware. At iSMA CONTROLLI, we really believe in having the latest and greatest with our products, and we continue to update the firmwares of all of our products. Just recently, we added DHCP to the IPI modules, and right now we are working on the BTL 22nd revision that is going to be a firmware update coming to our multi-protocol I modules as well. And to take advantage of them, all your existing stock of devices, you'll have to update it using our iSMA configurator. What you can do next is all the diagnostics and configuration. So very easily, just connecting with the USB, you can change the configuration of the module. You can set the temperature sensor. You can configure the watchdog. You can configure the digital outputs default states, RS-485, and IP configuration. There's a device tree you can see here that allows you to save your building tree for later. So if you create the application using iSMA configurator, you update all the modules and add them, you have three options. You have Modbus, you have BACnet, and the USB. What that means is you can create a device tree on the Modbus or BACnet, save that for later, and whenever you go back to that building, you can just load the tree and update all the firmwares, and it will remember the IP addresses, the BACnet IDs, and all the configuration. You can connect to these devices, as I mentioned, to all devices using the mini USB cable, but you also have all those communication protocols implemented, and you can even do the discovery process over Modbus and BACnet. And what is important, even for devices connected over RS-485, you can remotely manage. We have a special module for Niagara for Modbus, and our products support products including MAC36 and JASIS support BACnet routing. So you have a remote access not only to the IP devices, but also to the RS-485 devices connected to those controllers. So remote management is available within our products as well. And iSMA configurator is available for free using our IC Connect. So IC Connect is a very special configuration tool for all of our product. It aggregates all of our softwares into one simple but very effective tool. So as you can see here, I have my iSMA configurator already installed. I can quickly open it right from the IC Connect, and you can see the same device I have connected a second before, the 4i4o, is here available over the USB. So I can double click on this device. There's a switch to online mode, which will allow me to effectively see all the values coming straight from this device, which is great for any troubleshooting on site. We can do the IP configuration of this module. We can set on the DHCP. We can see if there's any devices connected over the gateway and using the sockets for the Modbus TCP gateway. We have the RS-485 connection for the gateway as well. We can set the default states for the outputs. And there's a watchdog time, which is really important in cases where there's no communication with the devices themselves. So if the device is not communicating with the master controller, with the watchdog time, it will set out the default states on the output values. So on both digital outputs, triac outputs, and analog outputs, there is a watchdog time. And as you can see, there's also switches on the product I have here. So with this kind of auto switches, we can manually override the values coming from the BMS as well. So these are available on all of our mini modules and the max modules. And now what we can really do with this tool is we can effectively discover the products. So if we go now to the Modbus TCP, we can discover the products we have connected on the bus. Let's see if there are any. I can see we have one product discovered, and that is actually the Mix 18 I have here on the board, connected to the Mac 36 Pro. So we can discover this product, and there's also another device called For You For All, which is our for a universal input and for digital output modules. So what we can do now is we can discover gateway devices. So this tool has discovered also the other For You For All that is only connected to this product over RS485. So we can effectively over IP manage not only the IP devices, but also the gateway devices. You can see the IP address is the same, it's just the different MAC address on this product. So what I mentioned during the flexibility of the products is that we have a built-in modes. So we can really quickly select whether you'd like to work just as a standard simple I/O, or you would like it to work as a input forwarding. So even I have here on the second output, I have here connected just the potentiometer, so we can show you how this product just forwards the input to the output really quickly. You could probably hear how the relay has switched on. So just without any integration with the BMS, we have already created a very simple control of the second digital output using the second universal input. And we can see all the real-time values. As you can see, we measure the resistance and we measure the voltage at the same time, and this can be configured also here. We can disable the resistance, or we can select the right sensor going through all the Celsiuses. So we have the 10K sensors, 20K sensors, and we also include the PT and NY 1000 sensors with the 16-bit resolution that is also available on the universal input. So with the PT1000, the second output will be already changed to the Fahrenheit, as you can see here, and all the various values shared over BACnet will be seen in Fahrenheit as well. So this is done automatically over BACnet and Modbus. So going further with the presentation, let's look at the other options of our products here. Web server. The IPI modules, they have a built-in web server, which is a configuration and a troubleshooting web server. So you can not only see what this product is in terms of the serial number, IP configuration, you can also set the input and output states. So now let's go to the web browser and we'll connect to the same Mix 18 IP I've been connecting to a while ago. We need to set the admin and password here, log into this device, and what you can really see is a very simple dashboard which will inform you about the module type, about the firmware version, the hardware version of the product, and the uptime, which can be really helpful in terms of troubleshooting when connecting with our support team. So going now through the setup that you can do in the web server, for example, here we can change the configuration of the local IOs. So all the universal inputs, digital outputs, and analog outputs are available and configurable as we would in our iSMA configurator. So we can set the same PT1000 in Fahrenheit and submit it to the controller here. And we can change the RS485 configuration for the gateway. We can set the DHCP, IP address, and all the IP configuration here and see the protocol type selected. And set the password for the web server. And of course, in terms of the security, you can always disable the web server as well. So if you go back now to our iSMA configurator, you can see there is an option to change it. If we set the 0 in the HTTP port, we will disable the web server. So it is up to you if you would like to have it or not on the IP modules. You can just leave the Modbus and BACnet without the access to the web server, and it's configurable using the tool or within the protocols. That's the web server. And now let's go through our Niagara integration. So those products are meant to be integrated with Niagara, and that's not only with IC branded Niagara. You can integrate them with any Niagara brand. We have a dedicated IC library module, which effectively allows you to program them over BACnet or Modbus offline, configure them, and really seamlessly drag and drop the points into your application for easy configuration. So I will open now my IC Workbench and show you how easy it is to integrate the products using our dedicated IC library into Niagara. So let's look where we are. This is our Mac36 Pro controller here, which is running a full stack Niagara. And firstly, let's just open the BACnet network, right? So, and discover the products. We have here available over BACnet the Mix18 IP. So we can simply discover it. We can discover the device, we can discover the points. So just simple drag and drop. We can go to this device and let's just drag and drop the configuration of the universal input here. Oh, there's some error here. Very simply, you can just drag and drop the points into the application and configure the device and integrate it in your Niagara application. But let's look now how you can do that for the Modbus. As you know, with the Modbus, there are registers. You have to know the right registers to integrate the product. So let's now go to the iSMA controller library. And what you can see here is all of the protocols and drivers are here divided. And in all of them, you will see the products and solutions. So let's focus now on the Multiprotocol I/O and go to the Modbus TCP gateway, which we'll be using in the Modbus TCP gateway network. So now we can really easily integrate the for you for all module into the Modbus TCP gateway by just simply dragging and dropping the device here. As this has been configured by me, by myself on the first MAC address, you can see it's already communicating. Now what it can do is, let's just simply drag and drop the configuration, some of the configuration parameters, so uptime, so we can see the updating values of this module. So we can see this module has been running for almost 3,000 seconds now. Let's go to the wire sheet of this device. We can easily drag and drop just the points and use them in our application. So maybe one of the digital outputs here. They can be dragged and dropped, or they can be used as all-in-one component here we have that are a part of our application as well. So we can read from just one point or the digital outputs and set them up from here, or we can just select and drag and drop each of the points separately. So we have the BACnet IP, we have the Modbus TCP gateway, but in terms of Modbus TCP network, all of the IP modules, they will work simultaneously over Modbus and BACnet. So we could effectively also add this Mix18 IP over Modbus TCP into Niagara using the palette as well. So going now to the Modbus TCP, selecting the Mix18, we can drag and drop it right here. We can go and configure the IP address. And you can see this device is up and running. And we can read all the points from this device and also drag and drop them into the application. So within a seconds, we've done a multi-protocol integration into the Mac36 Niagara controller of different devices. So let's now go through the rest of the options. Of course, the IC library allows you to configure all the I/O types as you could do in our configurator or the web server. So you have three options to configure a device. You can select the configurator, you can select the web server, or just simply using the configuration points with the prepared facets right here. And what I also would like to mention is you can learn by yourself about the whole multi-protocol I/O solution using our free e-learning platform. So you can really go now after this webinar and go to elearning@ismacontrolli.com and go through the multi-protocol I/O e-learning course for free. You just need to register. And secondly, all of our documentation is available for free. You can go to icdocs.ismacontrolli.com and access our online manual platform where you can find all the latest manuals and all the troubleshooting materials for I/O modules, our controllers, and all the other products. So please do not hesitate to visit our websites. You can access them through the official website, ismacontrolli.com. In the support section, you will find both e-learning and ICDocs as well as our open download center. So please, you're welcome to go to those websites and check what we have prepared for you in terms of the documentation and software. And last but not least, the quality and reliability confirmed by certificates of our products. So all of our products are CA, UKCA, and BTL and UL recognized. So if you would like to find out more about the BTL listing, you can go to our site on the BACnet International. You can find a current certificate. As I mentioned, we have running project for the BTL 22nd revision. And you can find our UL recognized components for the I/O modules also on the UL Prospector website. So I think we did it. We did it in 27 minutes, actually. So thank you very much for joining. It's been great having you. Please, you have still 3 minutes to ask all your questions. We'll address them within the 2 days. Thank you so much and see you at the next webinar.